What is up, everybody? This is the Grunge Bible Podcast, and we are back for another episode. My name is Ethan Shalloway, and I am joined with Chris Salona, as usual, and then we have our producer, Drew McFadyen, on the show because I'm out here on the West Coast in L.A., while Chris is back on the East Coast, but special pod alert. We got all three of us together and two in one place. That doesn't happen. We have all three of us on a few times, but rarely in the same place.
Back on the couch. Back on the Long Beach couch.
Back on the couch. Chris, how are you today?
I'm all right, man. I have to say, I did some of my best podcasting work on that couch.
Yes.
So it brings me great joy to know that I'm podcasting with two individuals who are on that couch today. How are both of you doing on this lovely evening?
I'm good, man. Good. Same couch, same place that you guys were for the Taylor Hawkins concert when you guys came here and podcasted. Yeah. So it's a special couch. It's a good couch.
So we had that one episode. Me and Chris did one in Pennsylvania. Did we do two? We did one in Pennsylvania.
We've done a few
together.
of them in PA.
I think we did maybe 2 or 3 episodes where we were together, and that's it. I think we've only done like 3 or 4, probably like 4 episodes.
Yeah, it's a short list
out of 115, which is
14.
Oh yeah,
close.
I was rounding up. Everyone rounds up.
Everybody rounds up.
Everyone rounds up.
114 episodes. You can call it 115. You can call it 120. It's fine.
I was at a restaurant not 2 weeks ago, and say the order was like 14.50. I didn't round down, but the waitress rounded up and didn't give like all the change back. And they kept it for a tip, and I thought it was a little strange. I was gonna tip her, and then all of a sudden I was like, "Why didn't you just
how
give
much
back?"
change are we talking? Was it like
$13.87
and change?
It was change.
It was $142 and change.
No,
Chris.
so I was with Matt King. I was with Matt
how
King.
much did you leave on the table?
No, that's not the point. You know what I mean? So this was Matt was there, and his girlfriend was a waitress, and she's like, "Yeah, she just kept it like you round up or down. Usually, like they're giving you back more change or something." And she acted like it was normal practice, and I just didn't know about it. And I understand it because I still tipped her, but it just makes it quick and easier. But I didn't know that people do that. Like if it's under 50 cents, they keep it. Like if it's like 19.30, they just give you 19 back.
Right.
But if it's 19.50, they give you 20, basically.
Right.
And it wasn't that busy, so I was a little surprised.
I feel like I'm being
thrown
gaslit
off.
right now.
Why?
I don't know. I've never heard of this before.
I've definitely experienced this. I've never like thought about it, but I definitely experienced. What state was this?
This is in North Carolina.
Oh, that makes sense.
Various jurisdictions. You never know what's going to be going on there.
Yeah, right. Different rules.
There's 2 Carolinas. They're just trying to
exactly. Everybody nobody knows what's going on over there.
So if you're a waiter or a waitress out there, please chime in and give us the lowdown, I guess, because we need to know what.
Because I never worked in the service industry. Did you guys work in the service industry at all?
Mm-hmm.
I did. Yeah, I worked a coffee shop, so we had tips and stuff.
That's right. Yeah.
Drew, you.
I've bussed. I've served. I've been a barista. I've done a bunch of service industry stuff. I feel like we're all still in the service industry somehow.
This podcast qualifies as being in the service industry.
I was gonna say,
yeah,
we're serving our patrons.
We're serving everybody.
We are.
Yeah.
But anyway, I am doing pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
That's
it's a
great.
Thursday that we're recording this, and I'm on the West Coast. So, like Chris said before, this is a cheat code because Chris is recording late night, and Drew and I are not recording late night. 3 hours makes such a big difference. Like
it's crazy.
You're telling me.
Like people finish work at 5 o'clock, and like people are getting ready to go. Because Chris, if you catch you on a good night, you're going to go to bed at 8:45, 9 o'clock.
Yeah,
which is like right when Drew, if he hits some traffic, that's when he's
Drew's in
home.
the car, and I'm asleep with the little teddy bear action next to me. I mean,
yeah, you have 45 minutes so you're horizontal, you know.
Exactly. I have 45 minutes until the rest of my life, and the service industry beckons, and this is what we have to do sometimes. On our evenings, we've been hammering the late nights for the podcast, and I think it's as good a time as ever to record. You get even more pure, unfiltered thought and banter
There's no better time than now.
Exactly.
That's what a lot of this episode is going to be.
Say.
A lot of this episode is going to be banter because there's a lot of moving parts right now. There's a lot of travel and just basic life on everybody's end.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, like we could, you know, we might be due to force one out and like talk about like Jesus Christ pose or some shit. But like when the boys get together, I mean that pretty much seals the deal. All bets are totally off. And also, not only are the boys together, but Ethan, I think if I'm understanding this correctly, there's some new tech in this enterprise right now. That we've got some different things going on there, huh?
We do. Drew, why don't you do this?
You want me to set this up to be the lighthouse in the storm? Okay.
Yeah.
So
I need to unbox it.
These damn guys, how long have I been saying, hey, let's get some new microphones. Let's get something here. He has this, Chris, just show them. Yeah. So we have this
the snowball. We love the snowball, dude.
Of a damn recording device, which works, but you know, it's very sound is very subtle, but once you hear what it can be, you don't want to go back, and that's what my brain and what my ear is at, you know, just having the experiences that I've had. So the reason that I've been premature, but the reason that I've been kind of harping on, you know, just investing a little bit into upgraded Sonics. So my buddy is here in the flesh. I needed to get some equipment just to make sure that we can record.
We needed
soundly.
A second mic for this episode.
Yeah, I've had many mics stolen, so I had this one. Just only needed one for a while, and so I decided to just go to Guitar Center, and I just happened to, you know, get a microphone. It's one of the classics.
So basically, what he's trying to say, we are halfway there.
I stumbled onto
we're halfway there, baby.
A recording interface, cable, and
for the people that are watching on YouTube, we have a microphone, cable, and an interface for half the team.
Wow,
pretty epic. And we'll be able to see firsthand how the audio is because that's what I'm using. I just dropped it. Look at this. Focus.
Yeah, so step in the right direction, huh?
Yeah,
Pretty
baby
sweet.
steps. It's only taken us, so by Grunge Bible Podcast, episode 228, I will have my microphone.
Well, next time you come out here, who knows, you know, yeah.
Well,
episode 228.
The crazy part is this isn't even the one that Drew's been telling us to buy the whole time.
No, see, he was pulling the wool over our eyes the whole time.
But it's all good. We are officially halfway to our goal of new microphones. Actually, I guess we're like a third because I'm going to have to upgrade, and I'm willing to do that, of course. But unless, you know, Chris gets the same one. But
no,
so
I'm going for the top shelf, man.
I know. So if you're out there listening, this next bit is for you if you want to help us get to another good microphone.
Another upgrade.
Absolutely. And I'm looking forward to everybody listening, having the opportunity to just bask in the sonic quality of Ethan Shalloway's voice today, given the fact that it is such an upgrade.
Right.
You know, we're happy to do that. But the reason why we were able to do that today is because of your support. And if you've been with us for a while, you know that the best way to support us, the most direct way, there's a couple of different ways. It's like, you know, you could take a medication, you could take a pill, or you get the IV. Like the Patreon is the Grunge Bible IV that gives us exactly what we
love
need.
That.
It's direct, it's quick, it gets you back on your feet, and it keeps you rolling. And we're very grateful that we have a large legion of individuals who choose to support us on Patreon, including some new individuals who have chosen to join the ranks, or they've been in the ranks a little while and they have felt strongly enough about what we're doing here that they decided to up the ante. So at this time, I would like to shout out Jonas Carlson, who was at the $2 tier, and recently we got the good news that they decided to step it up a little bit and get up to the $5 rank. So he's, you know, we're halfway there with the microphones. He's halfway there to becoming a $10 Patreon supporter, top tier supporter. So we're very thankful for that.
Thank you.
Additionally, a friend of the podcast, a friend of ours, Keith White has joined the ranks, and Keith White gets it. Keith's going straight to the top. Like, he wasn't at the party, and he's taking the elevator all the way up to the penthouse. Keith White is the newest Grunge Bible $10 top tier supporter. I would like to thank you, Keith, for your support. For your kind words and for your steadfast consumption of the podcast. It's really, really cool to hear your thoughts on it, as we put new content out.
Yeah, I want to also shout out Keith. We've talked a few times in the DM, and he's a light to this world, a big a boost. Just one of those guys that you get really good energy from when you talk to, and even when you don't have much to say, he always hits you with a beautiful, he's leading people on hikes and all this stuff. And I don't know, he's a guide, you know what I mean? He's a guide in a lot of people's lives. So
yeah, I was having a conversation with him the other day, and he gave me a bit of advice. He said, at all times, you should always have at least 3 things that you're looking forward to. So you got to make some plans. You got to have 3 things in the hopper. So, I gotta make some plans.
Yeah.
That's good advice, because it's better than 2 and 4's too many,
Exactly. Yeah, 4 would get a little overwhelming, and you're just making plans just to, satisfy the quota. But 3, like, you can handle 3 and really, really be involved. Additionally, as it relates to Patreon, I need to confess, I made a big mistake.
He spent all the money.
It's all gone. I spent it on cigarettes. No, that's not the mistake. So I don't know how this happened, because I'm usually quite thorough with this, but a top tier Patreon supporter has fell through my cracks. In November of 2022, so 6-7 months ago, somebody joined the top tier, and I have not acknowledged them on air.
Oh, Christ.
Well, looks like they're getting a segment after this one.
Yeah, we're gonna.
There's no better time like the present, huh?
Exactly. So
Wow.
I would simultaneously like to thank and apologize to the individual who has their name in there as Epona, Epona. I'm not entirely positive as to the pronunciation, but 1,000 thank yous and 10,000 apologies for my oversight. Because there's been a lot of episodes between now and last November, and I have not thanked you, but I'm going to make a point to thank you every episode and apologize every single episode until another 6.5 months have gone by, and then we'll call it even. So thank you so much for your support. So
Chris, this isn't just your burden to bear. It's all of ours. This is all of our fault.
Yeah, that's true.
You don't need to take this one. This is
don't fall on the sword
we
here.
check it as well. We just it happens. And they come in quick sometimes,
Well, and it makes sense. I mean, not to make excuses, but the holidays were around. It was Thanksgiving, Christmas.
We banked a bunch.
We're trying to bank episodes, so things fall through. But that's why it's important every week to read these individuals' names, because they are with us every single week. So Keith White and Epona are joined by the other remaining and continuing top tier supporters. And at this time, I would like to thank Alex Long, Black Hole Sean, The Blue Owl, Brother Nature, Captain Hightop, Kara K, Corden Stewart, Doug Endy, Eddie Vedder got me through my second divorce, Faith Bittner, Fresh Tendonitis, Fuck Soup, Granny Grunge, Jade Mercado, Carlene Salona, Jamie Lynn, Chris LSMS, Lauren Irene, Marianne, Millie, Nikki Six, Rachel Corning, Seattle 4 fanboy from New Jersey, and What the Fuck is Up Denny's. Which, by the way, that concert, the What the Fuck's Up Denny's, just celebrated its anniversary, I believe.
We need them on the pod.
Yeah, we definitely do. I posted something about them, and they followed us back. So that's great news. That's a good start.
That is the start. Yeah. Do we have do they still play?
They still play. They're coming out with new music. Live Without from Texas.
We are in luck.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
we are in abundance of luck. Thank you to everybody, all the Patreon supporters, the $2, the $5, and the $10, but especially the $10.
I want to do something special for the individual we missed.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I'm in.
TBD. We'll
maybe just like whatever episode they want to hear, we'll do it.
Yeah.
We'll have them on.
Have them on, exactly.
Maybe we'll have them on.
We'll have them on. If they're willing to come on, you're in. No doubt.
Yeah.
We'll make it work. I'm serious, guys.
Yeah,
I'm serious,
of course we're
guys.
serious.
Yeah.
I'm not joking.
Yeah, I think that's a really good idea. So we'll have to make some contact and have our production team reach out and
have Roxy over here reach out.
Exactly. See what we can do over there.
So Chris,
I have to, yeah.
Oh, did you have something?
Yeah, I have something I have something I have to say.
You guys want to get off your
out?
chest?
Yeah, so like there's just
this is the part of the show where let's hear it. Let's get a rant going.
Well, okay, so we were talking earlier about how the fact that Ethan, you're on the West Coast right now, and it's a little bit of a cheat code because your day, it's earlier. You're in the past right now relative to where I am. So because of that, like I'm just, I'm here on the East Coast, like waiting, like with my dick in my hands, just waiting for the podcast, waiting for it to be time to be recorded. So there's only so many different things you can do to kill time, right? Like, you're trying to watch the game, like you're trying to eat, like you're eating snacks, and like that's not doing it for you. So
buffalo chicken dip, whatever it might be.
Buffalo chicken dip, it's all gone. I was eating cottage cheese by the spoonful earlier, Drew. That's how bad it was getting.
Plain
cottage cheese. Yeah. Yeah, plain cottage cheese. So you could tell
Andrew Wells taught me to put hot sauce on cottage cheese.
Yep.
Blueberries or something. Come on.
No, man, plain. I use it with my eggs, but then you do drastic things when you're waiting to record episode 114 of the Grunge Bible podcast. So none of those things were doing it for me. So I laid down for a little bit, but I didn't want to sleep because I would be groggy for this, and I need to be chipper and I need to be spry for because we're in the service industry, and the customer is always right. So I resorted, as most people tend to at one point or another. Some do. Some go to TikTok. So I was on TikTok, and just the dopamine rushes of you're just looking at something for 3 seconds. If it does it for you, stick around. If it doesn't, you move on. And I came across a post, and it was an AI recording, AI generated version of Chester Bennington covering Ain't No Sunshine by Bill Withers. And there's been, like, everywhere I fucking turn, all of these AI generations of dead musicians are popping up all over the place, and they're singing songs that they never sang. Like I saw one, it was like if Kurt Cobain sang Wood, or like if Lane Staley had done like this Nirvana song. It's like all over the place. And I just need to say that I think AI, like generations like that, are not only are they dangerous, but they fucking suck, and they're terrible. And I don't want to see them. And I think it's a really, really dangerous, and it's not a good path to be taking. Like, it's just weird too. I'm not down for this kind of thing. Like, I'm not down for it at all. The only employment of AI in terms of, sound generation that I would be for is if we could AI generate episodes of the podcast so we don't have to do them.
It's probably possible.
Because like that's the thing, like we can piss on our own legacies because we're here, but like these musicians who aren't alive anymore, I mean, nobody can speak for them at this point, and I just think it's disrespectful, and I'm not down with it at all, and you're only going to see it more and more, and people are certainly doing this with living artists, and it's become pretty popular in pop and hip hop that they'll take AI generations and feature people on different songs and whatnot, and sometimes it's difficult to tell if it's real or not, and it's fooled a lot of people, and I don't think it's disingenuous, and it's not in the spirit of the art.
I heard the song, I'm not even sure what it's called, but someone played the Drake song, the AI version, or I'm not sure.
There have been a few of them with Drake, yeah.
And it was, I mean, it blew me away. It really did sound like him. And if I didn't know, yeah, we'll listen to it afterwards. If I didn't know, I wouldn't have known. And that is a scary thing. I mean, you see a bunch of like, political AI generated stuff and all this. It is really scary to think that like you could be fooled at any moment.
Well, there's a lot of
I
issues.
think it is very disingenuous and scary in a lot of ways.
And there's a lot of sides to this issue that I think don't sit right with a lot of people. Like you have like the ethical side of it. You have like the respect for the art side of it. You also inevitably are going to have the the copyright aspect of it and the financial aspect of it, because obviously, there's money to be made with everything. And who holds the copyrights for something like this? And I can only imagine how messy it's going to get and how destructive it's going to be and how manipulative it's going to be. And just people will grift with anything. And this is just a new frontier.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Like, we can't even play a song on the podcast of one of the bands that we love and we're giving credit to without it being flagged. And people are going to potentially make songs of people that are passed and could use their likelihood to get, at least if not monetary directly, but you could get a ton of engagement and following.
Well, it's lead so to something down the road. Though. It's super deceptive. Yeah. There's nothing stopping us, I guess, if we had the time or the know-how. There's nothing stopping us from fucking generating an AI responses to Q&As, and we could fake an interview with somebody. Wow, it's scary.
It is.
I don't like it. I don't like it.
I think with AI, it has come on fast. In the past 6 months, what has popped up and been able to happen is really quite astounding. And there are places where it's beneficial, but it really is the wild, wild west, and there's no telling where it's going to go. And I think because there's no policing right now, the fact that it was so fast, there's no policing, there's no ability to no one knows what to do. There are no rules, and people are trying to figure out how to navigate it, and it's just difficult.
Well, and legally, like you said, there's, I think we're quite behind,
100%.
Having an understanding of it. You all you have to do is watch a congressional hearing, the congressional hearings that took place on TikTok a few months ago to know, the people who are making the laws about these things, don't really they have no frame of reference.
Right.
They're out of their element.
So it's frame of reference.
Yeah, it's really scary. And the amount of issues that are going to arise from something like this. And that's the tricky thing with technology is, technology doesn't come with a guidebook on how to use it. It's inherently neutral and you can use it for positive or negative things. And, any piece of technology is undoubtedly going to be used for all sorts of good and bad things. And, there's always the potential for bad. And I think this, there's quite a bit of potential for it as it relates to, music and as it relates to the experiences and the experiences of music fans, and it's going to be really tricky, and I don't think it's the best thing for music and for art.
Yeah, well, everything is a double-edged sword.
For sure.
Right? And so just to even globalize it even more, the human brain as we know it, social media was challenging. Challenging.
Still is.
We can all see that, with everything.
Right.
Artificial intelligence, or a general artificial intelligence, as it's looking is getting closer and closer, is just going to be, challenging every part. So, yeah, dude, I don't know where. It was just one day. There was no Chat GPT on my radar, and then one day I woke up and there was.
And then it popped up. Yeah, dude.
Overnight. It was overnight.
Yeah. It's crazy.
What the fuck?
It's
and
super
I know it wasn't
up.
Overnight for everybody, but
right.
For any of us, at some point, it's an overnight thing.
Yeah. I'm on the TikTok app right now, and you can listen to AI generations of Kurt Cobain covering "Creep" by Radiohead, "Everlong" by the Foo Fighters, "Yellow" by Coldplay, "House of the Rising Sun,"
Coldplay,
"Today" by the Smashing Pumpkins, "Black Hole Sun," Soundgarden, "Smooth Criminal," "Toxicity" by System of a Down. Chris Cornell singing "Smells Like Teen Spirit." It's really fucked up. Using this for dead people is super fucked up. I'm not down with it. I really hate it.
I have to say this though.
Yeah.
I am intrigued.
I
am intrigued. That's the controversy that people go, because everybody asks that. Everybody's like, what if the people switch bands? And it's answering all the stuff
part
that we
of the
talk
reason
about
why those
on the
questions are so
podcast.
intriguing is because there was no real
Right.
way to find out, and it's all speculation. It's like, well, what's the best Soundgarden song? You can't answer that. Like, what would it sound like if Chris Cornell sang for Nirvana? Well, like it's not. I don't know. Like, because I heard the Kurt Cobain covering or singing to Everlong came up on my Explore page on TikTok, and like I listened to it, and it made me feel really weird.
I'll connect it to sports. It's like, what if Muhammad Ali fought, fucking Mike Tyson? It's like we can find that out
if
now,
LeBron
right?
played football.
If LeBron, whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
If somebody figures out how to legally monetize and market and publish that kind of stuff, that's going to be the biggest market.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's a simulation.
Yeah. And like I don't know.
We're just getting closer and closer to real life simulation. I mean,
like that's gonna be gigantic. What if Michael Jackson just ripped, a Queen song? We Are the Champions. Like, what?
So all you need is a computer in 20 minutes, and then you can figure out what.
Who doesn't want to hear that? But
or
I want to hear it.
Or John Lennon.
Yeah.
John Lennon covering Love Story.
No, you shouldn't. Right, you shouldn't be able to hear it. You shouldn't want to hear it. But
see, I think
I would agree with him. The discipline to not want to indulge if it's there,
right,
would be tough.
Well, it's the curiosity.
If the cake is baked,
yeah,
I want to taste.
Yeah,
and all I have to say too at the end of the day is like, good luck to the legal representations of these artists' estates.
The estates,
and what that's going to look like, because I'm sure. I mean, some artists, some deceased artists' estates are a lot more tight gripped over their artists, image and what's allowed to be out there on non-official avenues on the internet, and some are more laissez-faire, but I can imagine the issues that this is going to generate and the problems that's going to come up.
That's how I heard about my teammate was talking about the Drake song. There's like a really big controversy and I think probably legality going on between it. I need to look it up, but
I was gonna say, how do these people get it? Like, you said you were on TikTok and you heard all these options came up. How do these people
have them
not get flagged, or like how are these even out in public domain right
probably
now?
Engagement,
because people are making them. Like it's user generated content. Like they're creating it themselves and they're uploading it.
Because there's like companies like, as far again, like it's all so complicated, like ASCAP and BMI, that they're literally job. Like you do something similar, Chris.
Yeah, I do digital rights management for my day job. Yeah.
There's
flag them down.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing.
Companies,
I mean, like I'm sure like there's people doing what I do for my company's clients. Like there's people out there that are going to be tasked with copyright control and DRM stuff for this.
No, there 100% is like, and I still belong to. I'm a member of ASCAP, and that's their whole thing, is to protect the artist. Like if somebody plays it without my consent, they're supposed to somehow figure that out and remedy that wrong.
Yeah. Well, and I would say too, like from my professional experiences with my job, like the music industry has probably the most robust infrastructure in terms of making sure that if their content is out there anywhere, it is being monetized. Like there's the system catches it, but like these aren't, like this isn't their content. So it's like, how are the proprietary rights going to work? Like how is that going to work?
Right. I mean, I think it would be the same as like likeness and image,
Yeah. I think they should just block the shit out of all of this stuff, because it's not good. You can't put Kurt Cobain's
face on a t-shirt and sell it just the way.
Without getting the proper authorization. Yeah. Yeah, man.
Well, that was like the big case with the Andy Warhol Prince drawing that was on the t-shirt, that there was just a court ruling on that so they were selling this t-shirt with Prince's image on it, and I think it was an Andy Warhol print of Prince, or painting or a piece of Prince, and like it was tied up in the courts forever, and the courts ruled that putting that on a shirt and selling it didn't constitute fair use, which is like although it's always the main thing that people reach for, on the internet with different content like that. And most of my day job is interpreting fair use and, administering, things about that, but it's going to be really tricky.
Yeah, I wonder if like the way they get around it is because it's AI generated, so somebody coded something,
Right.
so it's like their own source material, but it's taking, it's got to be so
built
cloudy. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that is a cloudy day
Mm-hmm.
in Rhode Island, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, man, my day was ruined all because I'm on the East Coast and I was waiting for you guys for you to navigate the traffic.
Well, Drew had to finish work before me to get
I had to
over
finish work, and then we
So rude.
we capped or we GPS'd it from UCLA, which is in
25 miles.
Yeah, 25 miles to Long Beach, and at I don't know 4:35 o'clock, it was an hour and 43 minutes.
So I have to say, when I came out there last September, that was, and it shouldn't have been if I had thought critically about it for like 2 seconds, but like I was shocked. Like if you wanted to go anywhere, it was an hour. Like,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it's just gonna take time.
No, that's why LA rocks. LA rocks.
LA does rock.
And
That's
if you're
Hollywood,
watching-
baby.
That's Hollywood, baby. If you're watching the podcast, this is Roxana Banana, Roxy
What a
girl.
lovely dog.
She's a sweetheart.
She's a sweetheart.
Yeah.
And it's Memorial Day weekend, I guess, so they're doing some
So fireworks.
fireworks.
And some horns are going off. But
Yeah.
Chris, you'll find this funny. So I pull up to the house and get in. And he said, "You want something to drink? Do you want a water or some? Can I wet your whistle with some wine?"
Yeah.
I was like, no, thank you. Actually, yeah, I'll take some wine.
You got to think
So
about it for a second, though.
Right. Well, I have to
You're-
say no and then come back, or one or the other. I got to say yes, go
Mhm.
back on it, or say no and go back on it.
Right.
Either or.
You want them to ask twice.
Yeah, I wanted them to ask
just to make sure that they're really, really about it, and they're not just offering to be nice.
So then I go to the bathroom and I come back and I hear some clanking, and Drew's over there in the freezer pulling out some ice cubes, and I go,
What do you need those for?
I was like, whoa, are we doing ice and wine? And he's like, yeah. So I've been meaning to tell you. He's like, ice and wine rocks. And I was like, hell yeah. I was like, let's
Oh,
do
man.
it. He was giving me shit a couple episodes
Yeah, I was gonna
ago.
say
'cause
the last
that's-
time, Ethan, you were receiving some flack from him about that.
Yeah,
so how quickly
So-
things change.
Right. So we're drinking ice and wine. And it was pretty funny. Yeah, I was like, oh, that's ripe. That's classic.
No,
That's
it was I do have to say thank you, Mr. Shalloway. But
David.
in my defense, I would never do it with red. But I did find that you add a little bit of ice to some white. Wow,
That makes sense. I mean, I'm
refreshing.
the wine connoisseur that I am. I would never put it in red.
That makes sense.
Yeah. You can't. You just can't do it.
It's sacrilegious.
Well, I know that you had a segment that you want to get to. Do you want to do yours first, or do you want to do my segment first?
I'll go first.
All right, perfect. When in Rome.
Yeah. So, this past weekend, I'll give you a background. I basically started my track and field season, and I threw at a meet in Tucson, Arizona. I had two pre-meets, 2 meets before, and I opened up pretty well. So I say through 77 meters, and I was feeling really good going into it. And I had a rough day at the first meet. I had back-to-back meets. Tucson, I was going to be in Arizona for a little bit and then come to LA. And I had a rough day. But it wasn't bad, but I just had super high expectations going into it. Because I trained really well, I had a few good opening meets, and I was in a spot where I was expecting to throw better than I ever have. I mean, it made sense because I'd never felt like that. And we went there and we had the competition, and something was off. The first throw just kind of blowing through the throw, and everybody was down. Like, it was kind of a weird meet, and we were down. And then just because of the position I am in, the career, and how I'm competing and like trying to make the team, I feel like I'm always one step behind of where I need to be to get funding or to get the support you need. So I'm always reaching, and I felt in a really good spot. And it was the beginning of the season. I was like, this year is going to be different. It's going to be really not easy, but it's going to go as planned.
Yeah.
And, it was just a reminder. Just, I threw like 73 mid high and finished 8th and out of the money, out of the points, whatever. And I had a an interesting couple days after, because all of a sudden you're fighting your brain and telling you whatever it's telling you, and you have to figure out how to stay on top of it. And if you do sports out there, if you do anything that requires a long build up to an event and it doesn't go the way that is planned, it either goes well and you're really happy and you can keep rolling, or you have to figure out a way to bounce back.
Yeah.
And I guess, and so I went to the airport on Wednesday, and I went through and we had rented a car, and the battery, it was a push to start, and something happened, and like the battery wasn't working. We had to call AAA for our rental, and they had to fix it. And we had like I was so sore, and things were, flooding me with what's going to happen for the rest of the season.
Right.
And, and I was also on a long travel trip, so it's not normal. And I get there, and I'm in the airport, and I get to and of course we get there, I go to like the wrong terminal, because I thought I had looked and I had misread it. So I had to go, there's like a ton of walking in the Phoenix airport, yada, yada.
Phoenix.
The Sky Harbor.
Yeah, Sky Harbor. Yes, exactly. And so I sit down, and I'm sitting next to this 2 guys, and they were talking about coffee. And I was like, okay, they're talking about coffee. And I heard a little bit. He was talking about how he really liked it and how he's given up on coffee. Today was his first day not drinking coffee for moving forward.
Wow. Like, for good.
Like, that's what he said. So I was like,
no kidding.
I love coffee. But he's talking about coffee the way I like to talk about coffee, measuring and blooming and different aspects of coffee, the smaller details. So I get involved. And this is about 50 minutes before the flight. And so I start talking to them. There's 2 guys. And it's interesting because, well, I skipped that. So I start talking to him about coffee, and I pull out a bag that I had bought in Arizona, and we exchanged conversation for a while. And he had a long beard, and he had long hair. The other dude was gray in the hair and had, black t-shirt and sunglasses. And we were talking, and they had just finished coming from a Grateful Dead concert too. I didn't realize this until the end of it. It's funny because I saw a deadhead, an older deadhead on the Sky Harbor. And I actually thought to myself, because I've been in the zone a little bit with the jam bands, I was like, I'd really like to talk to an older generational deadhead in like more of an enlightened way, and kind of having that conversation of like what it was like back then and seeing it through the years and whatnot. And I didn't know until the end that they were there for a deadhead, but we had this conversation. So it went from coffee, and it went to what coffee is. I told him about non-negotiable April. So we talked about cutting things out and how he was going to cut out the stuff that was stimulants. And he's like a guide or a counselor here in LA. So he works with a lot of people and how they, how they deal with stuff and how they progress. And then, naturally he asked where I was going. I said I was going to a competition. I had a rough competition, and we were talking about this stuff, and he was giving me some really good advice. And I brought up the word content and contentment, and how, it's really hard because, and he said this, he's like, when you say you're content with something, people say that you're settling, and that's not the case.
Right.
You have to be accepting of where you are and be grateful of what is happening. And that's how you set yourself up to pursue what's next. Mm-hmm. You can't just, always be down or always be like reaching, because then you're missing the moment of what's going on. And I'm a big proponent of that in my journey, because it's been a long journey, and it's been grueling, and a lot of people can relate out to this, whether it be athletics or academics or whatever there is.
Business life, whatever the case is. Yeah.
Sometimes it's really not hard. And if people say love the journey, but I really think it's important to, have that understanding and be happy, be content in a way that allows you room to, strive, but not be so down on yourself when things don't go to plan. Mm-hmm. And so it was one of those conversations where I was, it was really good. Like I said, we started with coffee, and then we moved into javelin. one of the guys I was talking about the world record, and we were talking about some different things, and he was leaning over, and he was one of our flight attendants on the plane, and he's like, I got to get in this conversation. I was like, come on. I was like, come on. I was like, and I was showing him the world record throw on this stuff, and they're like, this is so cool. We got on the plane, and the guy was like, I wish I would have saved you a seat. This is a flight attendant, because it's like, it's bored as you go.
Right.
I was like, nah, man, it's no problem. I was like, I'm doing good. And then one of the ladies that was in the exit row, there was a middle seat, and she's like, oh, sit here. And she slid over and gave me the aisle seat. I was like,
that's
oh,
honorable.
Shit. Right. So I was like, this is great. And then Keith was his name. He was the flight attendant. Ishmael was the guy that I talked to in the lobby. He was on my flight as well. And then Keith gave me the Keith was the flight attendant, and he asked to take a selfie with me, and he was a huge fan. He was like so excited because he did the decathlete back when he was in college.
That's cool. Yeah.
And then the lady that moved over, I asked her she asked me what I was doing. I was like, what do you do? And she was she was like an energy consultant. So this is very LA also, that these people are going back to LA. So Tony Robbins, motivational speaker. So she was a teacher for people that work with him and like some other stuff. So I asked me what I was doing. I was like, yeah, I'm trying. And she's like, do you have she was kind of going through a few things and
she's trying to make a sale.
Yeah, she's trying to tell you about her a little bit. Yeah, I'm sure.
A little bit. I mean, her son was my son wants to be a Mr. Olympian, and asked, do you believe that? And for what it's worth, it was a very nice interaction because she was very encouraging and she had good energy. Cool. And that's what it's all about. So I had 3 really great interactions after a weekend where I was kind of upset and uncertain for no good reason. That everything has been going as planned, you would say, in training and all this stuff. And I had a bad weekend, and everything seemed, I let the doubt creep in where it's like, what's going to happen? And then these 3 people kind of came in, and it was just like, you're on the right path. Good things are going to happen. And it was it was really cool. It was one of those, and just like in Fight Club, you have those interactions on the plane. They call them one serving, where you see them and then they're gone, and that's it.
Yeah.
I'll never see Ishmael again.
Right.
Or Mindy was the little girl's name, or Keith. And but it was cool. So I want to ask you guys about being content with things, and if that has a positive or negative connotation, because it's a word that some people, some motivational peepers never be content.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I think for me, a kind of perspective. That's a very important word for me in my life. Perspective. I think you can use any word like content or whatever the case is, and it's neither positive nor negative. It's just how you perceive it. Like if you're content and that's a positive thing, then it's positive. And that's anything in life, the way that you was taught that in the sales world, so the way you speak to a customer or something, if it's whatever the case, nothing is positive or negative. It's just what it is, and it's just the way that you perceive it. And everything is a double-edged sword, right? It is.
Yeah.
It is. I can get a watch. I can get a Rolex for $8,000, or I can get a Timex for $99.
Yeah. It's like my
One
dad.
is not better than the other.
Right.
It's just how you perceive it.
When I was younger, my dad said, if you have a square room and you put a ping pong table in it crooked, and someone says it's crooked, I could be like, no, it's not.
Right.
Because you're just saying that because of the way it's in the room.
Yeah.
It's not crooked. It's just it's built that built the same way if it was turned sideways or whatever.
Yeah, and it's a simplistic, like the watch thing is a simplistic way of looking at it. But like if you were, if you had expectations about the way that your throwing week was going to go, and it didn't live up to that, would you say that you're content? Probably not. But I don't know. I think there's ways to word that to where it would change your perspective. That maybe you don't use content or something. It would just be.
No, and I didn't necessarily use that word. It just came up. It was kind of a conversation. Of course, I was not happy with my result.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
But where I'm at today, having another opportunity, having many opportunities for the rest of the summer has to, like, you can't live on one moment.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
Chris?
I think for me, like, big view, it means a few different things, but I think it starts with like having an understanding of like what you want, and then having the agency to make choices and the ability to make choices to pursue it, and to surround yourself with things that you enjoy and find value. And I think that's where like the contentment comes from. The fact that you're in the environment that you want to be and you're aspiring towards what you want to aspire towards. I don't think it's it's outcome based, because there's a large element of outcomes that are impacted by things that you have no control over. And I think it's just like, you're where you want to be, doing what you want to do, and you're you're not, and those efforts are not going to be impeded by something that is in your control. It's up to you. Like, you're doing what you need to do. And I think like we were saying, like, there's a lot, like, the big school of thought. It's like, oh, like, you never be satisfied, and like never, nothing's ever good enough. But like, there's no failure in absolute effort, and that counts for something in the big picture. And Ethan, funnily enough, I was thinking about, it's like, well, are you content? And this athletic pursuit is a big element of your life. But I was thinking about the Jackson Browne song we were talking about a couple of weeks ago, Running on Empty, with got to do what you can just to keep your love alive, trying not to confuse it with what you do to survive. And I think it speaks to the fact that, contentment comes from following those things that are big parts of your life, but also with understanding that they're big parts, but they're still parts, and it's bigger.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I had a few people. You always have those older athletes, or people that remind you that this isn't everything, and it's always a good reminder. And a good example would be with the podcast. We talked about some numbers, and 1,000 downloads per week. And if we said that we're really content with that, people would probably be like, "What the hell?"
Yeah.
It's like, well, we are happy with our progress where we are right now. We know it's going to get better. We want to get better, but
well, you have to be appreciative of, and you have to be grateful for like the progress that you've made in whatever it is that you're doing, and you have to be aware of where you are currently, because if you never are, then you're never going to feel contentment. You're never going to feel like you arrive anywhere, because it's always on the next thing.
And it's day-to-day happiness too that you'd be missing out on if you're going to be driving yourself in the ground for
And I think that's a big mistake a lot of people make, and it's hard. It's hard not to, because it's everywhere you look. It's always about like well, what are you like? What's like the next thing that you're going to do? Like, what are your big goals? Like, when are you going to like get this job? When like you're going to like move into the house? When are you going to like start your family? Like, all of those things. There's a lot of pressures.
Yeah, that's a good question. I love that.
Yeah, it's like you have the option to, like, you could, if someone asked you, do you want to buy your bigger house in 3 years or 5 years? And if somebody said, I'll do 5 years, be like, why? Why wouldn't you want it earlier? It's like, well, like, I live in it's a good area. It's a good thing. And
like, I don't need it right now.
I don't need it right now. Yeah, I can save for another 2 years. And like, people like, get there as soon as you can. It's like, it's not always the best answer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, shout out Quinn Shalloway.
Big time. Yeah, if you're trying to buy a house.
Real estate headhunter.
Great segue. Oh my gosh. But seriously, we might as well bring it up. My brother, Quinn Shalloway, has chosen to cut us a really good deal.
Yeah, he's cutting us in.
Bible podcast. Yeah, he basically said that if somebody out there needs to buy or sell a house, and we can use him to headhunt. Now, he's from the Philadelphia area, so if you're from that area, his email is quinnshalloway@gmail.com, or contact us directly.
No problem.
And you can work with him directly.
Yes.
But outside of that, if you're trying to buy or sell a house and you need to find somebody that knows what's going on in the real estate industry.
It's a small industry, by the way.
It's a small industry. Quinn will connect you with the right person with the most knowledge in that area. He's the
best person for you.
He's a real estate headhunter. And when you sell that house, not only are you going to make a lot of money, Quinn will get a referral fee, and then he's going to pay us, and then we're going to get new microphones. So it's like to connect the dots to helping us out.
It's kind of a win-win-win.
Right.
You know,
Yeah, there's
You
no
don't get them
losses in this
often.
equation.
the cool thing is, I mean, yeah, a pseudo grunge bubble member is gonna find you your dream home.
It's
Your dream home.
it is cool
It is
to
cool.
think about.
Yeah,
it is cool to think
you're
about. I
keeping
mean,
it in the family. It's good.
so if my brother wasn't in real estate and I had to buy a house, the first thing I would do is I would probably, I guess you'd ask somebody, do you have any friends? And, you just ask somebody if they have friends, and you'd probably go with them. So we're taking that aspect out. You can come right to us. We have somebody for you. You know what I mean? Like, if you need recommendations, you're just asking around. I ask random people at restaurants, like, what should I get? And I take their word. And sometimes
Yeah.
I'm really upset that I took their word, but sometimes I'm not. Sometimes I'm super excited.
Really?
But it just goes to show that, like, I take people's advice.
Well, it's a free email. It's a free phone call. Just
Exactly.
give him a shot.
Absolutely.
Find
So-
your dream home.
Contact us, and we'll get you his contact information. If you can't remember that his email is quinshalaway@gmail. Quin Shalloway@gmail.
Shallow has a few A's. Just be careful.
It's got a couple of them in there.
Yep. All A's, 1 L.
yeah. Okay.
Last segment.
With that being said, I have a few questions for you guys. Okay.
Let's
One
rip 'em.
question. No, just kidding. Last segment.
Let's
You
The
get
Drew
one.
The Drew McFadyen show is officially back.
Yeah,
Well,
it's back.
Thank you for hearing my rant or
Yeah.
whatever.
And
Maybe.
thanks for
talk
tuning
about-
into the Grunge Bible podcast. Now it's
Yeah.
the Drew McFadyen show
Now
Yep,
it's the
yep,
Drew
we
McFadyen.
jo-
Welcome
yeah.
to the Drew McFadyen show. We're back here
with your host Drew McFadyen.
How you doing, Drew?
So good. No traffic infractions. Again, we're good.
No
That's
traffic.
huge.
How's the monitors? I mean, the hard drives.
I've got several. Hold on, let me get Ethan a little bit more. Today is international, or it's National Wine Day. I'm
Damn,
not sure if anybody
I'm
knew that.
missing out.
It's because it's like 1 o'clock there, Chris.
Yeah, dude, it's getting late. That's all right though. It's a school night for me too.
It's 12. Okay, not as bad.
It's only 12. It's not that
So,
bad.
Happy National Wine Day, everybody!
Happy National Wine
cheers,
Day.
Cheers, buddy.
I need ice.
Because you got a
one
nice
second.
white there.
So I just want to do a quick round of favorites. Just generic favorite questions that we can all sort of latch on to.
Excellent.
Favorite pasta dish, Chris, go.
Oh man, I have really been fucking with gnocchi lately.
Oh, gnocchi with what? What's your condiment?
Dude, anything, man. I forget. I just had a really good gnocchi dish. I forget the specifics of what was on it, but it was amazing.
Brown butter and sage?
No, but I'd be interested.
Sounds delicious.
Yeah, that sounds really good.
Favorite pasta dish?
I think I'm gonna go with ramen.
Ooh.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
you didn't say that coming, but I mean, I was gonna say like I do like vodka sauce and some shrimp scampi or something, but I love a good ramen, or like a pho,
Oh, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
either
Nice.
or.
I got to go linguine clams.
Classic.
Clams. I mean,
Later
you just-
tonight.
yeah, that's what we're going to cook after this. It just you can't get much better than that in
Classic
the
for a
Boston
reason.
area. Holy moly. Okay. Favorite pizza spot in the United States?
Okay, pizza spot, not dish or not topping.
No, pizza joint in the United States.
Okay,
Oh man, this is a very
I-
difficult one.
this is.
I know we're all a little bit if it's world you want to go to, that's fine too.
It's not no.
Perfect.
So I think I'm gonna go with. See, I've had a large sample size with the places around me, and they're really good. So, and they have me keep me coming back.
You're northeast, you're saying.
Yeah, northeast and close to Philadelphia, 45 minutes. I'm gonna go with Alfredo's.
Wow.
Literally the closest place to my house that sells pizza. Delicious.
It is really good.
I mean, our family has formally switched over to Gio's. That's where we go. All little Gio's. That's where we go all the time. But Alfredo's
What's
is
the town? Bartow?
Bartow, Pennsylvania. Yeah, little
Christ.
Gio's is in Gilbertsville, I believe.
Okay.
That's classic.
Shout out Alfredo's.
Yeah.
Alfredo's is, I can attest, obviously growing up in the same place. It is pretty spectacular.
It was the best around for a long time
It was really
in that
good.
area, and
Chris?
they had good pizza.
Yeah.
I am going to choose Fellini's Pizza in Providence, Rhode Island. That's my that's my go-to spot for a slice late at night, and it's the place to be.
See, Chris, we've had pizza in Joe's Pizza was
in
it
New York.
in New York? We've had great pizza in New York, but the stuff that you can go to every week is what's going to be at the top for this.
Because like when you're visiting someplace like that, like you're checking
Hard
a
to
box.
tell.
It's not really an experience. You're just doing it because you gotta.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, Jim Allen sent us that way the other time. So
Jim Allen, dude, what a guy!
Yeah,
Oh
what about you, Drew?
I was gonna say, dude. Well, you guys took the words out of my mouth. Last time I visited my family, who lived in Connecticut, we went to Joe's. And I'd never had Joe's before, ever.
Look at that, Chris. We know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, it was pretty spectacular.
Yeah.
I mean, it was really, really good. We found a place actually out here, funnily enough, in Long Beach, La Parolaccia. It's like Neapolitan meets New York style.
Ooh.
And it's actually phenomenal. La Parolaccia. Really amazing.
Are we all New York style over Chicago?
Yes.
Yeah,
I
totally.
mean, Chicago's great, but it's not what I think of.
It's not in the spirit of this conversation. I like Detroit style is pretty good though.
Yeah,
it is. It's, I mean, pizza's pizza. You know what I mean?
Pizza. I mean, like pizza. You need a nice New York slice though. Sicilian's not bad too though, but New York is the way.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Next.
Yeah. Favorite city.
Oh, I love this question. I've been asking this question to a lot of people recently.
Mm-hmm.
And I also realize that when I say Philadelphia, that's really biased because people usually say. Actually, we talked to somebody at the bachelor party because he lived in Philadelphia and he lived in New York, and we asked what better food.
Yes.
Where the better food was, and he said, without a doubt,
New York.
And I thought that was interesting because I think
then
he
pulled back a little bit. He was like, well, maybe.
But I love the food in Philadelphia. It's very culturally diverse. It has so much, and everywhere you go is so good. So I think
it has all of the aspects of New York. It's just smaller, which might make it better, but maybe not necessarily.
Yeah, it's good. One of my favorite cities in the U.S. is Tucson, Arizona.
Oh,
yeah.
Why?
Because it has, it's the desert, so we don't get the desert on the northeast very often. So it's very different. Chris will know this. It's special. They have really good food, really good drink, and it's in Arizona. So you have the nights, the mornings and the nights are really special. Like it's hot as balls during the day, obviously. Yeah. But at night, like it really does get, and they have these beautiful night
like
skies.
30-degree difference.
It's very different, and the food and drink there are really awesome. Really great options all around, and they have there's a big university, so there's still some stuff popping as far as like college and athletics and stuff. So I always enjoy that trip a lot.
Favorite city, Chris?
I'm very fortunate to live in my favorite city. Growing up, I hated Rhode Island. I hated Providence because everybody hates where they're from. But now that I've moved back and I have the independence and the ability, I'm lucky enough, to be able to go out and see people. And I have a great, social network here. It's got to be Providence. I also have to say the limited bits of time that I've spent in Philly, I really, really, really enjoyed it. I'm a Philly guy. Like I like Philly. I also think this is gonna sound crazy. I think Des Moines, Iowa, is a little underrated. It's a quality town. Nobody really seems to think of too much, and it doesn't get much consideration. But otherwise, Boston's in there. But I mean, if I'm gonna say Boston, it's got to be Providence. I
was to say, Chris, you got L.A., New York, Philadelphia, and Boston. Rate them.
Boston, L.A. No, Boston, Philly, L.A., New York.
Wow.
Not and New York's not even. I don't even give that the bottom because it's bad. It's just just where I rank them. They're all good. I like them all.
How about you, Drew?
I was gonna say I think New York City is my favorite city in the world that I've been to.
Helsinki's awesome. If we're talking international.
Well, I'm just saying favorite city. I think if you've been, I I think New York City is just one of the greatest cities. I never lived there, but I think the opportunity for any aspect of life there is so great.
Yeah.
All right.
I like that.
And quality, just because there's so many options of best to worst, that it's probably my favorite city. I'm gonna kind of hijack the question. I'm just gonna name off a few things. Philadelphia is incredible. Elk City has the best coffee that I've ever had in my entire life in Oklahoma. Elk
Wow.
City, Oklahoma.
Didn't
Best
expect
coffee.
that.
Main Street in Elk City.
Okay.
Best iced coffee I've ever had in my life. But Flagstaff, Arizona, was the best vibe I've ever gotten from a city.
Yeah, I was supposed to go there I was in Phoenix for 2 days, and I was going to drive up to see one of my old roommates, but I had too much to do and not enough time to do it, and it was just too hot. Like everything took it out of me, so I didn't get to make it because I've heard beautiful things about Flagstaff.
Have you been?
No.
Not yet?
What you
Oh,
said.
dude, it's amazing. I remember getting dizzy on my commute there because the elevation is so high, and you're just like, what the fuck? It's
Chris,
fucking-
remember when we played disc golf in Colorado and we were dizzy, dude.
Yeah, man. And we were also not in great company, which negated a lot of the experience. But what are you gonna do?
Our tour guide was an asshole.
Oh, for real. And then it's like the darkest town in the sense of just like lights. Like there's like the street light. It's so dark, like just the sky or something, and the street lights don't do anything. It's really interesting.
I gotta say too, Boulder. I like Boulder, Colorado a lot.
Oh, cool.
Estes Park. That was beautiful.
Tourists. It's
was
me. I'm the
beautiful.
tourist.
Man.
Okay, cool. Favorite type of dog?
Bernese Mountain Dogs are awesome. They are so loving. They're so ditzy, and they're smart. They're obedient, but they're still like goofy. You know what I mean? They're like really smart. But they don't show it always, but they are clever. And clever is the better word.
Clever's a good
And they're
word,
so
yeah.
fluffy, and they're big. They're big. I really do like them. I'm not a small dog guy a lot of times, so those Bernese have always done me right.
Chris.
Yeah. I have to say, this is gonna sound crazy, but just hear me out. You know what breed has really been growing on me lately?
What?
Dachshunds. Little wiener dogs. Yeah.
Those little guys are awesome.
Yeah, dude, I love
smart cookies, huh?
myself
Yeah.
the little weens, dude. They're fucking awesome. They're so
That's
cool.
funny.
They are.
Yeah, man.
Labs. I mean, I'm
go
biased.
wrong,
I grew up
obviously.
with a lab.
Yeah.
And there's
Roxy though.
Roxy. I mean, Roxy girl right here. She's a boxer pit mix, and she's just one of the most incredible.
Pitbulls are so awesome.
Yeah, she's one of the most incredible animals. She's so intuitive, so like, reads your face so well. But yeah, I grew up with a lab, and yeah, he was a cool guy. We used to lay on Ethan.
That's hilarious, dude.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, cool. Okay, favorite guilty pleasure.
Chris, you go first.
Guilty pleasure, man.
I know Chris.
You want me to go first? I'll go first.
Ethan, what were you gonna say for me?
Chris is a big Taylor Swift fan.
Oh,
There's no
fuck.
guilt in that.
Oh, I knew you were gonna say that too.
All right, let me go.
Yeah,
And
Drew,
then you
start
guys
us
go.
off.
Okay. Favorite guilty pleasure is just literally not buying anything, just going and walking around Bed Bath and Beyond, which now just went bankrupt. I'm
Nice.
pissed about it.
Bed Bath and Beyond
I-
bankrupt.
I love that store, man. They're fucking closing, dude. Favorite guilty pleasure. I love the store. I can't tell you why. I just love looking up the appliances and apparatuses.
It's true, dude. A good
Big apparatus
kitchenware.
guy.
Yeah.
Good kitchenware is fun to check out.
William Sonoma.
Yeah, man. I don't know if this qualifies, but something that I really love the concept of, and I love doing it. So I love going and purchasing on a Saturday or Sunday morning like a $9 cold brew coffee, and then just walking around.
I can expand on that.
I thought you were
too.
gonna say cigar.
That's a good one. I can expand on that too. and I know Chris will like this. Nothing like getting going to a sports game would be a great example, or going to just a bar and spending $50 on a buzz.
Oh
Oh
god.
yeah.
like
No
like
food.
buying like 4 drinks in like an hour and a half.
And they're like
Paying
12,
way
they're like
too
$12
much.
a piece, and like you tip a little bit too because you're a little buzzed. Like,
Yeah, and just starting your Saturday afternoon at like 2:00 with like a $50 buzz.
oh yeah,
It's like super irresponsible. Could have
Brutal.
pregame
because then it just
like,
it leads to spending at least that much in the evening hours that night too.
yeah. That's a good guilty pleasure because very irresponsible,
Yeah, I love
Yeah,
that.
but so much fun,
Dude,
Yeah.
if you
Oh,
give
yeah.
me the option between like going to drink at like 2 p.m. or 10 p.m., I'm picking 2 every single time because then you get the rest of the
100
night.
out of 100. Yeah, dude. I'm day drinking.
And the cool part too is like you
Drinking during the
emerge
day.
from the bar or like you walk out on the street at like 4:30 and like you feel like you're pulling a fast one on everybody else because like they're all doing errands or going to Bed Bath and Beyond and you're just like,
I will go to the
Go to the Beyond.
Bed Bath and Beyond bankrupt.
Yeah.
I will go to the grave saying that day drinking is
it remains
so
superior.
much. It
You get
remains
the whole
undefeated.
night
against-
too. It's all free time.
Well, it's just light out. You just get to do more stuff.
The
There's
sun-
more options.
The
Everything-
the sun shines a little brighter. Your friends are a little funnier.
So case
Yeah.
in
What
point,
can't
how do you
you like
guys think
about
I feel
it?
the fact that it's 12:10 in the morning? I'm podcasting right now.
the nocturnal side of it all.
Last one, favorite Creed record.
It's undoubtedly for me. It's Weathered.
My own.
I would say
Crit.
weathered.
I mean, you guys are.
I knew you were gonna pick that.
Yeah,
My Own Prison.
You
every
had to
song
pick My Own
kicks.
Prison, but I mean, talk about like a great 3-album run to start things off. I mean, My Own Prison,
Oh,
Human
Human
Clay, and then
Clay.
Weathered. And
What's
then
the better?
later on,
What's the best
Full
name?
Circle
out of those
was
three?
great.
Full
too,
Circle.
dude.
Full Circle was Away in Silence, dude. Oof.
Oh my! Away in silence, dude.
Gas.
Oh my god! I'll listen to that going to sleep tonight.
Dude,
I'm going.
oh
to
my
sleep.
We're
gosh,
gonna
the
put it on
guitar at
after
the
this.
beginning. I love that song.
Yeah.
Dude, something
Wow.
you can't get anywhere else but the Grunge Bible podcast. It's a couple of guys talking about how good all of Creed's albums are.
And
Mm.
talking about contentment and a lot of really good topics.
Bed Bath and Beyond.
Bed Bath
Same
and Beyond.
time.
Yeah.
Ah, thanks for being on here, boys.
Yeah, thanks
Yeah,
for
this was a lot of fun.
thanks for making this happen. This was good. Against all odds, we made it happen again.
Absolutely. I'm going to go ahead and say that we bypassed the song of the week for this week. We gave you a great episode. So unless anybody has any objections,
No, that's
Chris does. Chris wants to do it.
I would
Oh.
humbly like to submit Away in
I'm sorry.
Silence. I would like to submit
Oh.
Away in Silence by Creed.
all right. Well, we all got to do it now. Jesus
Yeah,
Christ.
we all have to do it. Just pick a Creed
All right.
song then. Fuck it, right?
Why do you like that song, Chris? What about it?
because it came out in like 2009 and I bought it for my iTunes back in the day and I used to listen to it a lot. That's why I like it.
It's awesome.
Do you want to go or do you want me to go?
You go first,
I'll go.
Drew.
I would like to, on the last episode I was saying how I like listening to classical music.
Right.
And soundtracks at the moment. There is, so his name is Basil, probably Palladorus. I don't know exactly how he pronounces it, but he was actually Hans Zimmer's mentor.
No shit.
Yes, and he they're both credited, but mainly Basil, for composing the soundtrack for one of my favorite childhood movies, which was called White Fang, that Disney made. And if you search that soundtrack and search the main title, it's a killer melody, dude.
Damn.
So that's my song of the week. Main credits of
Awesome.
main title of White Fang by Basil and Hans.
I like that.
All right. For the final song of the week, I'm glad you made me do this, Chris. Thank you. I'm going to choose the song Mountain by the Front Bottoms, mainly because of the lyrics. For some reason, it's just so much fun to sing, where he said, I bought fireworks, a big bag in Pennsylvania. And then he goes, I'm going to light them up when I get home to Jersey. They'll probably arrest me. They'll probably ruin my whole summer. And I love it. I bought fireworks, a big bag in Pennsylvania.
I'm seeing them tomorrow night.
I know, dude. I'm jealous, man. That's all. You're not gonna, that one's off their self-titled album from 2011, so you won't be able to see that one.
Yeah.
But, yeah, dude, you're gonna have an awesome time. Is it in Providence?
No, it's in New Haven, Connecticut. So I'll pick up some nice pizza.
Is Colin
going? New Haven, dude.
Yeah, man. I'm
excited. Are you going by yourself, or?
I have one ticket, so.
Wow.
Yeah, I'll see what I can get into out there, man.
We'll get a recap next week, huh?
Yeah, man.
We get a recap on the
Frank and Pepe's, huh?
Yeah, or maybe modern pizza out there is pretty good too.
Yeah.
There's some good options.
Get concert,
Sally's
how the track meet goes, and then a life update from Drew next week.
Yeah.
You want me on next week too? Wow.
Just a soundbite. Just we'll ask you how you're doing.
Yeah, I'll just be at the end.
All right, everybody. Thank you again so much for listening. That's wraps up another episode of the Grunge Bible Podcast. If you're still with us, please make sure that you follow us, subscribe, share us with your friends, and maybe leave a review, something like that. But until next time, rock and roll, stay heavy, and please have a great week.
Rock and roll.
Rock and roll. Thanks, everyone.
Peace.
Well, I have to send this to you guys because you guys need it. So I'll send it and then I'll go sleep.
Probably don't need it.
You don't have to do it tonight.
Right now.
Yeah, you know what? I'll send it tomorrow morning then.
Do it tomorrow. Come on.
Yeah. You're not going to do anything with it tonight.
Truth's not going to touch that thing till Sunday at 5 Pacific.
Yeah, you're right.
And then Chris will be like, how you doing? He's like, at the dealership.
Yeah, man.
Good.
It's like, when's it gonna be done? When's it gonna be done? I'm rendering it as we speak. 9 hours. 9 hours later, be like, yeah, I'm gonna do it in the morning.
Rendering now.
Bye, Chris.
Still rendering.
Love you, boys.
See you, dude.
Yeah, we'll talk to you guys.